I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I just turned off a tap. And by the next day, his power was fried, his tenants were gone, and he was packing his bags to move out of the neighborhood. That's what happens when you steal from the wrong neighbor. If you've ever had a nosy, entitled, or thieving neighbor, you'll love this story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because today's revenge didn't need fists or lawyers, just one flick of a valve. A few weeks ago, I finally became a homeowner. I live in Asia, and I landed a deal most people dream of, a capital city house, dirt cheap, from family friends who hadn't lived here in nearly 3 years. They needed cash fast. I needed a place. The paperwork flew through, but the dream came with baggage. The house was mid-renovation, half-finished walls, a rusty main door locked only by a padlock, and no front gate. Anyone walking by could just wander right in. And someone did. Day one, I pulled into the driveway and, surprise, there's a random motorcycle parked in my garage. Didn't even blink. I wheeled that thing out to the street and had a gate installed that same day. Later, some guy banged on the gate, probably looking for his bike. I didn't answer. After 15 minutes, he gave up and rode off. Welcome to the neighborhood, right? That incident made one thing clear. People here still thought this was an abandoned property. Cars blocked the gate. Strangers loitered. But a bold, "and no parking" sign cleared up most of that quickly. What didn't go away? My next-door neighbor. Let's call him Old Miser. He lived on the first floor of a 3-story building next door and rented the upper 2 floors to tenants. He wasn't just your run-of-the-mill grump. He had history. My friends, the previous owners, warned me he didn't want the house sold. Made it very clear. But I'm a 6-foot guy with 3 big dogs. He didn't scare me. Still doesn't. Last week, I was taking a shower and something fell off. The water pressure was weird. At the same time, I heard a hum. That unmistakable sound of a water pump kicking in. It was coming from Old Miser's place. Now here's the thing. Houses here need water pumps to push public supply up to the roof tanks, especially in multi-story homes. The problem? Every time his pump came on, my water pressure dropped. I got suspicious, so I waited. The next time his pump turned on, I turned on all the taps in my house. Pressure? Gone. The second his pump turned off, pressure returned. Coincidence? I didn't think so. And suddenly, all those unusually high water bills from the past few years started making sense. My friends always assumed it was due to leaks. But now, I had a pretty good idea who the real leak was. Old Miser had been siphoning water from my property. Probably helped himself during the 3 years the place was empty. Never stopped. Just ran a line over the wall or tapped into the outdoor pipe. And why not? There was no gate. No one to stop him. Until now. Now, water here is cheap. Even with a garden, a car, and 3 dogs, my monthly bill barely hits $5. This wasn't about money. This was about audacity. A man who hated that I bought the house. Who never even asked. Who felt entitled to my property, my water, and my silence. And I was done staying silent. No arguments. No accusations. No police reports. Just a little revenge. Clean, legal, and absolutely satisfying. So what did I do? I waited. I waited until Monday, 4 days ago, when I heard that pump rumble to life next door. And then, I turned off my main water supply valve. That's it. Here's what that means. In our water systems, the roof tank has a ball valve. When the water level drops, the valve opens and the pump switches on. Once the tank refills, the valve shuts and the pump turns off. But if the valve stays open and no water is flowing, the pump doesn't stop. It keeps pulling, keeps running, and eventually, it burns out. What I didn't expect was how fast things unraveled. Apparently, Old Miser's pump had old 90s wiring, totally outdated. So instead of just frying the pump, the constant power draw fried his entire power system. Wires melted, fuses blew, everything went dark. At 3 a.m., I woke up to hushed voices, then yelling. His tenants were furious. The house had no power, no water, and our tenant laws? They're serious. Landlords are legally required to maintain essential services or face heavy fines. The next day, one tenant moved out on the spot. The other filed a complaint with the police. That one flick of a valve, it cost Old Miser everything. 2 tenants gone. Security deposits refunded. a $500 fine from the police. And worst of all, he now had to fix the entire electrical and plumbing systems before he could even rent again. This guy was a retired mechanic with no other income. The tenants were his lifeline. Now, that lifeline was gone. A couple days later, he walked up to my gate. Straight face, calm voice. "Did you turn off your water?" I smiled. "Oh yeah, my tank had a leak, so I shut off the water overnight." Plumber fixed it the next day. He just stared, nodded. "Oh, okay," then walked away. But his eyes, he knew. And he knew I knew. Didn't matter. He couldn't prove a thing. This Sunday, old miser is packing up to move in with his daughter. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I didn't even touch his property. I turned off my water. That was it. No more thief. No more grumpy neighbor. No more games. 2 birds. 1 tap. Sometimes, the best revenge is the one where you never raise your voice, just the pressure. Or in this case, cut it off completely. If this story gave you that cold, satisfying sense of justice, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled off that turned out perfectly? See you in the next one. And remember, stay hydrated, but don't steal water.